Moscow is under attack. It may not be raining rockets or missiles, but the city is firmly on Ukraine's radar. Several drones flew into Moscow's airspace on Tuesday. All of them were shot down. One of these objects crashed into an office building. It's the same one which was struck on Sunday as well. So that's 3 days and 2 attacks. What exactly is Ukraine playing at? And how will Russia respond? Well, Ukraine's neighbors are bracing for a spillover, especially Poland and Lithuania. Both are NATO members. They're now thinking about shutting their borders with Belarus. Why Belarus? Because that's where the Wagner fighters are based. Lithuania and Belarus share a 670-kilometer long border. Poland and Belarus around 400 kilometers. Both these borders are fenced, but occasionally migrants and refugees do turn up. That's what both Poland and Lithuania are scared of, that Wagner fighters will pose as refugees to enter their countries.
Most likely they will be disguised as the Belarusian border guard and help illegal migrants get to the Polish territory and destabilize Poland. Presumably they will also try to infiltrate Poland, pretending to be illegal migrants, and they will try to enter Poland, and this poses additional threats.
Will Putin risk that? Well, technically, he won't be involved. Wagner fighters recently staged a mutiny against Vladimir Putin. Western governments declared it a big defeat for him. US President Joe Biden said Putin was weakened. So if Wagner attacks Poland or Lithuania, can the West still call it a Russian attack? Because on paper, Wagner is not Russia. They're anti-Putin, remember? This is what Lithuania and Poland are scared of, that Putin will wage a proxy war against them. He can attack NATO territory, yet deny any official involvement. We've heard these theories before. Most of them have amounted to nothing. So we'll have to wait and see how this one pans out. In the meantime, let's look at the front lines. Russia's army chief visited a command center in the Zaporizhia region. It's a focal point of Ukraine's counteroffensive. Some of the fiercest fights are happening here. Now, the Russian army chief isn't exactly a popular man right now. The Wagner chief had some colorful things to say about him. So did most of Russia's ultra-nationalist bloggers. They blame the general for Russia's slow progress. This visit is supposed to calm the nerves. Maybe the people of Moscow need it too. Their city was supposed to be safe from the war, but that has changed in the last few weeks. On Sunday and Tuesday, Moscow's business districts were under attack. The same high-rise was hit twice. Now imagine you're an ordinary office goer in the city. Would you be worried? Looking at these pictures, I guess you would be. And that's what Ukraine is counting on. The fear factor to build pressure on Russian citizens. The Kremlin has a different take, though. They say Ukraine's counteroffensive has failed. So this is desperation. Listen to this.
Amid the failure of the so-called counter-offensive, the Kyiv regime, backed by its Western sponsors, has focused on carrying out terrorist attacks on civilian infrastructure.
Now, don't think this is one-way traffic. Most of Ukraine's drones are being shot down, but the Russian ones are hitting bullseye, and this is the result. On Monday, Russia struck civilian targets in Zelensky's hometown. At least 4 people were killed. One of them was a 10-year-old girl. Another drone strike hit the city of Kyiv. It is the second biggest city in Ukraine. 2 floors of a college dormitory were destroyed. Now, these are all civilian targets. The high-rise in Moscow, the apartments in Zelensky's hometown, the dormitory in Kyiv, these are not legitimate military targets. Why then are they being bombed? Because both sides are more desperate. And Russia is clearly doing more of the damage. Just look at these numbers. Around 150,000 residential buildings attacked, 150,000, 150 bridges, 900 cultural centers, and 3,000 shops and malls. That's Russia's track record in the last 500 days. But when Ukraine hits Moscow, they call it a terrorist attack. A bit rich, I would say. But the larger point is this: neither side should be striking civilian targets. If you're desperate, sue for peace. Don't kill civilians. Which brings us to the talks in Saudi Arabia. The kingdom is planning a peace summit later this month. Ukraine is attending, but not Russia. The United States has confirmed its participation. A dozen others, including India, will also be attending. But is there appetite for peace? Putin says he's always open to talks.
We can't stop the fire when they attack us. When I say this, people start thinking, start the peace talks. We never rejected them. You know, I'm always saying we never rejected the peace talks.
Let's face it, these are not genuine statements. Putin is not serious about a peace deal. Neither is Zelensky serious about concessions, which is why this war is dragging on endlessly. When the fighting broke out, we used to track casualties every day, see how many people were killed, how many missiles were used. But 500 days on, no one is keeping track, it seems. The violence has been largely considered normal and inevitable. Unless that changes, there won't be peace.